I started my first YouTube watch review channel in December 2019, so I'm approaching 5 years at this. That's quite a long time, isn't it? Do you know why I started? I started because I was passionate about finding the best value for money watches. Well, primarily for myself, because I was building a watch collection and I'm one of those people that really likes to look after the pennies because they look after the pounds. And so when I was stumbling across what I thought were incredible deals online, I just felt like I had to share it with you guys. And that is why I started my channel. And I've continued, I think anyway, to focus on sharing with you guys the best value for money watches. And the watch I'm going to show you today has to be one of the best value for money watches I've ever come across. Have a think to yourselves, what is the best value for money automatic watch housing a 9000 series movement? And I think today I'm going to best that. Now, if you're a regular viewer of my channel, you'll probably know I'm talking about the Engineered Diver by Fortella. This is only the second watch released by this Swedish brand. The first one was an incredible value for money 300-meter diver housing the NH35, and again that was touted as one of the best value for money micro brand divers, well, ever. And Sven has followed up the Cambrian diver with this Engineer Diver, a 6425 ISO certified dive watch. And the specifications are incredible, especially when you consider this watch is launching for $269 US. Now, there is a little bit of a caveat with that price. That doesn't include shipping, and there's a very good reason for that. Sven explained that if he includes free shipping and prices these watches this competitively, there's a good chance he'd actually make a loss. The cost of international shipping these days is, well, always increasing, like everything else, I guess. And so Sven was reluctant to commit to free international shipping because, well, these watches are so competitively priced. There just isn't the money or the wiggle room within each watch to guarantee that that cost can be covered. So Sven took the approach that he was going to price these as competitively as possible, but then ask you guys to pay for the shipping. And you'll find out the shipping costs when you visit the website and start the ordering process. Of course, it's going to fluctuate as well from country to country. So in a way, it's sort of fairer. Anyway, even with the shipping costs factored into the equation, the value for money here is just insane. I don't normally do this. Normally, my reviews are quite casual and I just pick up the watches and I waffle and I include some specifications and some I forget to mention, so I write them on the screen. Well, on this occasion, I'm just going to run through an unbelievably long list of what you're going to get if you buy this watch. And it is a long list, so I better crack on. Firstly, it's an original design. It's a micro brand watch. It's an original design. Everything has been made bespoke. There's nothing that has come from a sort of parts bin. The bracelet, the hands, the dial, the case, even the clasp, it's all been made specifically for this watch. It houses the Miyota 9039, 28,800 beats per hour, hacks hand winds, no date complication on the dial, no date complication within the movement, so no ghost position either. And I've already mentioned it, these watches are ISO 6425 certified divers. That costs money and takes time. Watches have to be tested. And what it means is these have been rated as dive watches. Yes, they are only 120-meter divers, but actually, well, I said this in the unboxing, I think that's a really good decision because not many people really need ISO 6425 certified 200 or 300-meter divers because those watches can withstand incredible pressures, the likes of which, well, none of us are really ever going to experience. But giving this watch 120 meters of water resistance means it's a little bit thinner than it would be if it had a deeper water resistance rating. And that extra certification is extra peace of mind that these watches really are waterproof. You can go snorkeling and even scuba diving with these watches. You will not have any issues. 316L stainless steel construction. Each watch is individually numbered, 5 colours, 100 watches in each range, so your watch will be somewhere between, well, 0 and 99. Sven is sending 2 clasps. A clasp that you can use as a sort of diver's clasp with an on-the-fly adjustment system, which he designed, and a butterfly clasp. And because he's also including a butterfly clasp free of charge, you will get both clasps. Sven has also thought to include some additional links that are a different size to the normal links, which basically means you can't fail to get a decent fit even with the butterfly clasp. And get this, he's going to include spare screw pins and spare double-ended quick-release spring bars. 2 pieces of sapphire crystal in the display case back, and a piece of double-domed sapphire crystal covering the dial with 3 layers of internal AR coating. A layered dial, it's not just a plain sort of flat sunburst dial, which is very easy to make. There's a lot more going on with this watch. A chapter ring, an additional element, which then has a sort of loomed section, and then inside of that you'll get a sort of textured dial which also has a layer over it which is sort of reflective. Of course, if you then go for the fully loomed one, which is the one that I was sort of involved in and I asked for, then you're just going to get a loom display when the lights go out. There's a lot to choose from, and Sven's also thought to adjust the colour of the hands to suit the colour of the accent colour, if you like. Ceramic bezel insert, of course, 120 click unidirectional bezel action. And the alignment on 4 out of 5 of my watches is bang on. I don't think it could be any better. The 5th one, I'm probably being a little bit tough. It's, well, a bee's dick out. I'm pointing it out only because, well, obviously I'm being very complimentary about these watches and I don't want people saying it's a sales video, because it isn't. Of course, I'm going to talk about the negatives in a moment. And I am going to point out this ever so slightly, fractionally off-center misaligned bezel. But if that's as bad as it gets, then I think we'll all be pretty happy with that, won't we? Solid construction throughout, so solid end links, solid links, screw pins, of course, milled clasps, there's no sort of hollow bits. Double-ended quick release spring bars. The second hand on the dial is capped, so that finishes off the dial and the hands very, very nicely. BGW9 loom. The loom is pretty good, of course. You're going to get more loom on the fully loomed dial version. I think that is my favourite, actually. I really like the green one with the gold accents. In fact, I like the black one with the gold accents. Those are probably my 3 favourites. The blue and the red are nice. You don't see too many watches with red dials these days, do you? So yeah, that one's a little bit sort of unusual. But yeah, they're all nice. But for me, the fully loomed one is the one to go for. And there's a little Easter egg on that one as well. If you look at the case back, ILW on the case back, because that was the colour that, well, you guys actually picked. I put it out there, didn't I, in a community post to either pick a fully loomed dial version or one with orange accents, and you guys picked the fully loomed one. So yeah, Sven has put ILW on the case back. That's pretty cool, isn't it? And each watch is going to come with this incredible travel case, which is one of the best travel cases I've seen, actually. Room for 6 watches, really small, discreet. It's going to protect the watches really, really well if you go away on holiday. It's definitely one of the best sort of small, discreet cases I think you're going to find. And just a fantastic bonus. So, yeah, a lot of reasons there as to why I'm putting it out there that this is potentially one of the best value for money watches I've ever seen. Of course, no watch is perfect, and this watch is, well, like every other watch, it does have a few weaknesses, and those are, well, the design is a little bit divisive, I think. When I filmed the unboxing video, there were quite a few people saying they didn't like the way it looks. Of course, that is completely personal, subjective. You're just going to have to decide for yourself whether or not you like the design. I do like the design. Watches like this with integrated bracelets that taper have been very, very popular recently. So I think Sven's on point with that particular design element. The dial, you could argue, is a little bit busy. I also find the clasp with the on-the-fly adjustment system just a little bit too bulky. There's 12 positions for that on-the-fly adjustment system, which seems like a lot. And of course, as you look at the side of that buckle, there's just this opening on the side of it, which isn't the prettiest, is it? But I guess you would tend to use that if you're going to actually use the watch as a dive watch, so how it looks then becomes less important. But anyway, I just find that clasp a bit chunky. I also think some people aren't going to necessarily agree with the 120 meters of water resistance, which I do think is a good decision, because for most people 200 meter or 300 meter divers are just way over engineered and actually a bit more chunky than we'd like. So I don't think the 120 meters water resistance is an issue. In fact, I think it's a very, very clever decision. But again, I've already seen people commenting in the unboxing video saying, what a weird decision. Well, I don't think so. But of course, you're entitled to your opinions, and I'd like to see those opinions in the comments section. And I want to talk about the finishing as well. You would expect this watch then, given you're getting all of this stuff, more stuff than you normally get when you're spending this sort of money on a dive watch like this, you would expect then the finishing to be a weakness, perhaps. That's where money has been saved. It's not the best finished watch I've ever seen. Of course, it's not going to be, but the finishing is good. It's not disappointing at all. The polished surfaces are nice. The transitions are still very, very crisp. Brushing is nice. The polishing is bright and smooth. I actually think these watches are better finished than I was expecting. And honestly, I don't know how Sven's done it. I don't know how Sven's managed to get all this into a package and then managed to price it at 269 US dollars. Well, I do. I think he's basically sacrificing profit for awareness, which isn't a bad thing to do, especially in the early stages of a watch brand. Like the Cambrian, the previous watch, Sven just wanted to get watches out there, and he knew that he'd be able to do that if he priced them very, very competitively. And, well, not only is this one priced incredibly competitively, he's thought about everything. I don't think there is anything else you could add to this bundle that would make it more complete, other than perhaps a wetsuit and some diving gear. It's just phenomenal, unbelievable. Guys, yeah, let me know in the comments section what you think of the value for money on offer here. Of course, feel free to comment on everything else as well. I'm sure there'll be comments on the over positive nature of this video, but it really is just because of the unbelievable value for money that seems to be on offer here. Honestly, if you know of a better value for money package like this, let me know in the comments section, because I want to see it.